everybody, welcome back to the channel. So within today's video, we are going to be talking about the latest regarding Moukoko, and then later in the video, we're also going to be talking about the renewals of Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto. And then lastly, within this video, we are going to be talking about Ronald Araujo. Everything is going to be organized down below. If you guys want to skip through certain parts, if you guys just want to look at a certain topic within this video, you can. So again, everything is going to be organized. And thank you guys for joining in for today's video. So before we go into this video and these topics, I do want to speak about our sponsor for today, and that is going to be the OneFootball app. If you guys want to find out what's currently going on in the world of football regarding your favorite player, maybe your favorite team, whether it's Liverpool, Manchester United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, all of those stories, all of those facts, all of those stats are going to be compact within the OneFootball app. It's a great app in order for you to be informed immediately and live on your phone, and it is for free. If you guys want to download the OneFootball app, you can scan the QR code that you see here on the screen. But if you don't have a camera, you can also click on the link down below. It's clickable. It'll take you straight to the app store. You can download the OneFootball app, and then you set exactly who and what you do want to follow, and then you'll be set and done from there. It's a very easy process. I hope you guys do enjoy it. But now let's go back into this video and let's talk about Moukoko, because it does say here Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Barcelona are among the clubs interested in Moukoko. They love to sign him if he becomes a free agent in the summer. So there has been talks in the media. Where is Moukoko going to go next? He does not want to renew with Borussia Dortmund, so where is he going to go? And Barcelona always had Moukoko on the radar, and now we're here just looking at Moukoko being linked to FC Barcelona. Do I believe that this is a reaction to how Barcelona lost the transfer of Endrick? I would say yes. You may say this is just a narrative, Kevin, you're just over exaggerating. I think this is true. Like Xavi Hernandez did say publicly to the media that he wanted Endrick in this Barcelona club. Like he spoke to Endrick and the agent and the father about the project that Barcelona is building, and so the search of a top striker was always planned. Like it's real. They needed and they wanted a striker, and now Barcelona is headed towards the second alternative, which is Moukoko. It is a complete reaction to not achieving the signing of the Brazilian striker Endrick. Now, what can Barcelona gain from this, from choosing Moukoko over Endrick? Point number one, Moukoko does have more experience in Europe than Endrick. Point number two, Moukoko would be able to join FC Barcelona very soon. Like I'm talking about in about 6 months. If you compare that to Endrick, Endrick would be only able and eligible to arrive to Europe in about 2 years when he turns 18 years old. But now Barcelona do not have to wait if they actually bring in Moukoko. And then point number three, Moukoko is simply just better inside the box in terms of finishing. Now I know that Barcelona, even us, would prefer to have Endrick in this squad because we know that Endrick is going to be inspired to become the best in the world when he does arrive in Europe. And I hope that is how Moukoko has his attitude if he does join FC Barcelona in about 7 months. Because usually when we talk about German attackers, we don't necessarily see like these German attackers get inspired to become the best player in the world. We don't really see that, right? They are in the second tier. Like for example, in the first tier, you have your Ronaldos, you have your Messis, you have your Neymars, and then you have the second tier, which is your Nabaris, your Sanes, great players, but they won't be the best in the world, if you guys understand what I'm saying. Which is why I do say I hope that Moukoko goes to Barcelona and says, I want to be the best player in the world and the best striker at the very least in the world. And so if we have that type of attitude and he works hard and he has, again, a good and very mature attitude once he does arrive at Barcelona, that would be great. As a matter of fact, Moukoko was speaking to the media and he had a very mature response when it comes to him turning down a certain deal. And this is what Moukoko did say a couple of days ago. I will never accept such a lie and I'm still in shock. It's a shame. My full focus is on the second half of the season with Dortmund, and I will never be bigger than the club. And right there, my friends, right there, that last sentence, that is key. To hear Moukoko say, I will never be bigger than the club, that is an attitude that we want to see at Barcelona, and the only type of players that we want to see at Barcelona. So Barcelona made it very clear that they're not going to be in any bidding war. Barcelona are going to be doing what they can, and if Moukoko wants Barcelona, everything should be very easy and it should be a very smooth process. This whole thing about Barcelona going for Moukoko instead of Endrick now because Endrick ended up going to a different club, it's really reminding me of what happened to Laporta back in 2003. He promised Barcelona, to the fans, to the media, to everybody, right, that he was going to be achieving the signing of David Beckham. But because they did not achieve the signing of David Beckham and he went to Real Madrid, what did Joan Laporta do next? They went on to sign Ronaldinho, which was at that time their second choice, their second signing. Doesn't that story remind you of what's currently going on with Endrick and Moukoko? They tried to go all in for Endrick, but only to find out that now Endrick has decided to go to Real Madrid, and now they're going to have to go for the second alternative, which is Moukoko. So in the short term, most likely, we're probably going to be seeing Ansu Fati on the left wing, Moukoko as the striker, and Dembele on the right wing. In the long term, maybe by 2026, most likely we will be seeing Ansu Fati on the left, so still playing for Barcelona, hopefully by that time being the best left winger in the world, with Moukoko as the striker and Lamine Yamal, a player that we have been talking about for so many days now, starting on the right wing area. So now let's move on towards the next topic of today, and let's talk about Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto and their renewals, because I know that there's a lot of tensions when it comes to the renewals of these two players, but I want to assess something and I want to explain something to you guys so you guys can just understand why Barcelona are renewing these two players. So let's start with the details regarding Sergi Roberto, and it says here that Xavi wants Barcelona to extend Sergi Roberto's contract. Xavi wants Roberto's contract to be renewed immediately due to the club situation and the versatility of the player. He considers Roberto's performance as remarkably well and has informed Aleman about his desire to extend. As far as the player's desire is concerned, his priority is to renew at Barcelona and has told his agents to keep any offers on standby. His case will be dealt with by the sporting area very soon. And then when it comes to Marcos Alonso, it says here that Marcos Alonso's renewal is assured. No doubts over a final agreement in January. The player would ideally like to stay at Barcelona for more than just one season. He believes he does earn it. The duration of the new deal is a detail yet to be polished. Marcos Alonso is happy at the club, and this is according to 21 Marty. Okay, so let's pay attention to these details and let's try to understand why, right? Why are we renewing Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto? Because again, there is tensions behind this move. All other clubs, right? You compare what Man City is doing and what Liverpool is doing and the signings that they're making great signings, and then we have Barcelona renewing Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto. I understand that there is tensions. Why would Barcelona renew these two players when they don't even have that many years left? In about 5 years, they're probably going to be retired. You have Marcos Alonso, who's 32 years old, Sergi Roberto, who's 31 years old. Again, let's assess. Always look for the clarity. Always just stop, right? And just look at the bigger picture, at the whole thing on why Barcelona is doing this. And let me tell you, these two renewals do make a lot of sense. Barcelona simply just want to have solid backups. Now, let me explain. Just because Barcelona want to renew these two players, it does not mean that Barcelona are saying, I want you two, right, Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto, to be starters for FC Barcelona, right? The renewals do not mean that. Don't get this case so confused. When we talk about Sergi Roberto's position on the right back position, Koundé is the for sure starter on that side, and we're probably going to be bringing a brand new right back. When it comes to Sergi Roberto's other position in the midfield, the future is already set. It's only going to be Gavi, Pedri, and Frankie, and then Sergi Roberto is going to be that fourth option, the fourth option. And when it comes to Marcos Alonso, him playing as a left center back, we have Eric Garcia and Christensen already, so Marcos Alonso is going to be the third option in the left center back position. So we're talking about Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto only being placed there in the worst case scenarios. And if you were to ask me if Marcos Alonso and Sergi Roberto are great third to fourth options at a squad, they're great. They're phenomenal based off their performance. If you were to ask me, are they great first options and should be in the starting 11, then that's a different conversation. But being the third or fourth option in a team and looking at their level, they're great players to have. Sergi Roberto has been phenomenal under Xavi Hernandez. Same thing with Marcos Alonso. He has had so many solid games in the Champions League. And again, to have those players as third or fourth options, it is not so bad as it seems. And the best thing from all of this is that these two players, just like what Sergi Roberto did say, they get paid like if they were Barcelona B players, so it doesn't hurt FC Barcelona at all. So again, context matters. Just let the whole thing sink in and then understand why Barcelona is doing this, and then you're going to be having way more clarity by the time you do have that conclusion. And so now let's move on towards the last topic of today, and now let's talk about Ronald Araujo, because it does say here, according to Jared Romero, Araujo will receive his Spanish passport today. He will now have a dual citizenship, which means he will be considered as Spanish and also Uruguayan. Now, what does this mean? Does that mean that Ronald Araujo can represent the Spanish national team and join Gavi and Pedri and Ferran Torres? I don't think so. That would be great though. That would be freaking amazing to see that player, that center back, join the Spanish squad and play with Eric Garcia or Laporta or whoever is there. But that's not gonna happen at all. I think that Ronald Araujo is so proud of what he represents at the moment, so it's not going to happen. But what does this mean, right? Because here's the thing. 3 years ago, a report came out about Barcelona starting the process of applying Ronald Araujo for a Spanish passport. And the reason why Barcelona were already putting Araujo through this process 3 years ago is because they don't want this player to take up another non-EU spot within the first team squad. In other words, that means non-European spots. And now seeing that Ronald Araujo is going to be considered as a Spanish player, now Barcelona is going to be having way more access to welcome more Argentinian players, for example, Brazilian players, maybe American players, and so forth. And that is it. There's nothing more to it. Araujo has finally received his Spanish passport and everything is well. So that will be wrapping up today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.